Welcome to this e-learning module by oneworldtraining.com. So we will be talking and discussing about PeopleCert Scrum Product Owner 1 course in this discussion. So as part of this e-learning module, we will be discussing the details of what are the roles and responsibility of product owner and how product owner is an important element as a part of the Scrum. So this is one of the a very good course provided by PeopleCert, and all the material which we will be using is basically accredited through PeopleCert. So with that, let's begin with the journey of PeopleCert Scrum Product Owner 1. So a bit about the One World Training. So One World Training is a global training organization having its presence in multiple countries around the world. So One World Training have its offices in the likes of the US, UK, Netherlands, India, Malaysia, and various other countries globally. So One World Training provide uh, training in almost 150 plus areas, and they are working very closely with multiple organizations and individuals. So One World Training basically deliver its courses in 5 ways. So they carry out classroom trainings. They also carry out online uh, trainings as well. They have a e-learning module, and then there is a blended approach of self-paced learning. In addition to that, they also have an in-person support for any kind of instruction which is required for the user location. So these kind of facilities are available with oneworldtraining.com. So about the trainer, about me. So I am a certified digital transformation leader and officer. I have been actively involved in research. I am a research scholar as well. I'm also an advisory board member for multiple institutes, colleges as well. Author of a book called Experiencing Life as a Yogi. And I also hold an MBA uh, from Pope's Ranking B School, pursuing currently my doctorate. Having more than 17 years of experience in total in multiple uh, technology processes and people area. So I always consider uh, keeping yourself abreast, keeping yourself uh, knowledgeable is the key for success of any person. Having said that, yes, I have more than 70 plus certification by various certifying authorities, and I always believe that education is my passion, and uh, I want to ensure that based on my passion, I contribute back in ways and forums. So I've been also recipient of multiple awards in various forums. So I have more than 30 plus awards across internationally in various roles and responsibility. I always believe that we should give back our learning which we have acquired, and that's how I am a trained yoga professional as well. So that is a bit about me in terms of my profile, my academics, and I am a certified uh, Scrum Master level 1, level 2, and product owner 1 as well from PeopleCert as well. So, and as I said, this is more of a copyrighted content. So, the all the clauses of copyright applies to this content. This content is basically protected through copyright, and then it cannot be reproduced under any kind of circumstances. So, it's purely an agreement between PeopleCert and the ATO for using this material for internal purpose. So if there are any questions, or if there are any part of the document, if you want to reproduce, if you want to use it across, there has to be a written permission which has to be taken by PeopleCert by visiting to their website, and then you can always write it to PeopleCert uh, at the below mail ID, which is info@peoplecert.org. So as I said, there's a disclaimer as well, and it is more of a copyrighted content. So we should always be respecting that part of it, right? So no part of this publication should be reproduced or transmitted in any form, maybe electronically or by photocopying. So all these things should be avoided to avoid any kind of copywriting breach. So now, as we say, PeopleCert is one of the global leader in certification. So PeopleCert, they carry out a web and paper-based examination. So they basically have exams in almost 25 plus languages, and there are more than 2,000 plus accredited training organizations, which is associated with PeopleCert. So PeopleCert is one of the well-known uh, uh, certifying body among all the accredited organization ATOs, as we call it, across. So they have been delivering exams across 200 plus countries every year, and obviously there are a comprehensive portfolio of more than 500 plus exams, and it is always growing as well. So that's how PeopleCert has been in the business for quite some time, and PeopleCert has been working and trying to introduce newer and newer courses to ensure the value delivery is provided by its content. So PeopleCert focuses on ensuring that how we carry out these tasks in a most effective manner. So let's move ahead. Since this is more of a e-learning module, so we will skip about in introduction part, but then yes, but then had it be a face-to-face discussion, we could have spent few minutes in terms of introducing yourself, the organization where you work, and what kind of role. So this is an important exercise for introducing yourself, so that we get to understand the level of competence of participants, and then how should those discussion be based on that. But then over here in this e-learning module, maybe I can introduce myself. I am basically one of the co-trainer for PeopleCert, having cleared the PeopleCert product owner certification exam, and I'm 100% sure that by putting this across, by putting these e-learning module, most of us would be able to get the basic fundamental knowledge of product owner, and we should be able to clear our exam as well. So again, since this is a e-learning module, so this might not be important. So it's more of a lunch breaks. So since it's e-learning, you can always take and resume the recording whenever you want to do it. But then, had been a physical uh, meeting or physical training, these are important aspects to be considered. So obviously we should be talking and ending the session in a timely manner. So we should respect the time. We should have lunch breaks at the right time. We should have the participation of the candidate is one of the essential feature. We want to ensure that people understand it should not be a monologue. The trainer delivering the session, but then it should be the participants also. They should be able to ask question, and there should be a discussion on the kind of clarification if they have any, and then obviously we want the feedback to be given across, and we also at the end of the discourse we want people to take the exam, and not only take the exam, we want them to be clearing it as well. So the focus of this recording would be on guiding the tips and giving the tips and tricks for clearing the exam. See, the biggest or the best thing about PeopleCert exam is, although you might be a practitioner working as a product owner for years and years altogether, so you might be having industry knowledge, but then for PeopleCert exam specifically, for the Scrum exams or all exams, whether it's a Scrum Master, whether it's product owner, so the key to success, or the key to clear the certification, is that you should be thorough with the kind of content which is provided by PeopleCert. At least go through the recording thoroughly, read the material thoroughly, and be focused, because most of the exam questions basically come from these content only. So you should be thorough with each and every aspect and details of this content. So that's a key for clearing the exam. So as we say, so the course material basically comprises of syllabus, then there is a presentation which is there across, and then there would be a course supplement which will be uploaded on the channel as well, so you can go through it. There would be exercise workbook which would be there. So the exercise workbook is more of an optional one. It is not it is not required for clearing the exam, but then obviously if you want to practice and if you want to see some practical examples of how the product owner work and those kind of things, you can always refer to the exercise workbook. There is a sample exam, and then there is a self-assessment as well, right? So these are the high-level course material which will be covered as a part of the overall PeopleCert Scrum product owner certification training. A bit more details on the exam. So it's more of a closed book exam, and it is a 60 minutes exam with 40 questions. And believe me and trust me, the exam questions, some of the questions are really straightforward, based on your understanding, based on your past experience. But then what I suggest is, let's be thorough with the concepts, and let's be remembering the concepts which are taught about the product owner as part of the PeopleCert core course content, right? So the focus is how we can maximize our score from the exam, right? So you have 40 questions, and the minimum passing marks is 26 questions out of these 40 questions. Obviously, it is a MCQ, which is multiple choice question. There is 3 to 4 options which are given across for a question, and then you need to pick the right option. There is no negative marking, as we understand. So if you still don't know, I will certainly recommend that we should go ahead with the elimination technique. So try to see the options, try to eliminate the options, and if you have narrowed down to the 2 options, then try to find which can be the nearest closest right answer. So since there's no negative marking, there's no harm in trying and eliminating those options to get the right answers as well. So these are a few of the tricks and tips for clearing the exam. And with that, we will formally begin. And I wish you all the best for this course. So as we say, we cover this under the daily agenda. So there are 2 days which we call it as a day 1 and day 2. So as a part of the day 1, we will cover the module 1, 2, and 3, and module 3 will also spill over to day 2 as well. So module 3, 4, and 5 will be covered on the day 2. So as a part of day 1, so we'll start first with the module 1, which is basically talking about the Agile project management fundamentals. Any person who is already a PMP certified, or who has completed his certification in Agile methodologies from the perspective of project management, so for him it would be relatively easy, because most of the information would be a kind of a refresher for them, because this module talks about what are the Agile project management fundamental aspects which a person should be remembering across. So that's a module 1. Module 2 basically discusses about the fundamentals of Scrum. So it discusses about what are the different ceremonies Scrum have, what are the other aspects of Scrum. So we will see in detail. So that's a mostly a fundamental aspects of Scrum, which is discussed as a part of the module 2. As a part of module 3, which is a very important module from the perspective of exam, and there is a high volume of questions which come across from the module 3. So this module is value driven product management. So this module has to be looked up very thoroughly, because this comprises of a majority of questions coming from the exam. So If you ask me, across almost more than 26% of the more than 26% of the exam come across from this module. So module 3 is an important module, and that module will also be carry forwarded tomorrow as part of day 2 discussion as well. So value driven product management is a important aspect to be considered. Then the module 4 is basically the core module, which talks about the role of a product owner. So this module 4 is again an important aspect. So if you are preparing for the exam, please be very thorough and focused, starting from module 3 and module 4, because it is assumed, and we are assuming that people are at least having an overview of module 1 and module 2, because a person who already know Agile, for him module 1 would be a refresher. A person who know the Scrum and fundamentals of Scrum, again the module 2 would be a refresher. So module 3 and 4, they are the important modules for the product owner certification, and then has to be dealt up very seriously. Similarly, the module 5 is basically a focused module on the product backlog management. So how you can have a best way or best practices for the product backlog management. So there is a dedicated module on the management of the product backlog. So how you can carry out the product backlog in a most effective manner. So this is discussed as part of the module 5.